Creativity, I think, it's the basis of all art, but it's also the basis of all expression. And whether I'm writing or painting, acting, doing anything, I mean, even having a conversation with somebody, everything comes from, the creative urge comes from the same place. The only difference is the medium changes. A lot of, I guess, inspiration or images or whatever is behind the art comes from things like dreams or inspiration that I just see all around me every day.
You say life is a dream where we can't say what we mean. Maybe just some roadside scene that would drive.
Artist Open House is a place where creative people in Cook County talk about their work in their own words. Not just what they do, but why, what inspires them to continue, and who may have influenced them along the way. I'm Jay Andersen. Tim Young has done almost everything, video, the internet, writing, but he's best known for his colorful and energetic painting.
I have different jobs that I do. My jobs are things that I do, but art is like what I am. It goes to the core of me. It's not that something that I'm doing because someone expects it of me, or it's something that I truly do for myself. There was a time when I was first showing my paintings in Grand Marais. People kind of forget this, but my work was very dark. It was a lot of like black and white, and if there was color, it was usually blood red, And it was really, there was a big change that happened when my daughter was born. I stopped painting because I was home taking care of her, and when I picked up the brush again, it just came out in bright color. So I think you bring what's called for or what you've got in you. What comes out of you has to be in you in the first place. So as we go through life, we change, evolve in a way as we learn more and get more experiences, and then all those things can be incorporated into what we then express. When it comes to subjects, yeah, there are certain things that I do over and over again. And I have a couple things I want to say about this. First of all, it's really difficult not to be inspired by the scenic beauty that surrounds us. The white pines, in particular, the old growth white pines that we see as we're going up the Gunflint Trail or different places, those are such incredible earthlings. I think of trees as individuals. I did a stand of white pines, and there were about 5 of them in the painting, and I called it 5 brothers. Well, I happen to be one of 5 brothers. And then there was a companion piece to it that was 2 trees, and though I didn't title it that way, I kind of thought of them like my parents, and, so my whole family depicted as trees. The trees, there's a stability to them. When I look out at the water, it's always changing, and I've always lived near water, and so fish, I've always been around fish. When I was in Liberia, was born in Detroit, so you're never far from the Great Lakes in Michigan. I grew up in Liberia, right on the ocean, and then ended up here. My daughter is from Palau, which is completely surrounded by water. So, there's that kind of stuff. Oh, I was probably 8 years old. I had a dream. We lived outside of Detroit on a farm. I had a dream that I walked out into the driveway, and there was a muddy puddle in the driveway. We had a gravel driveway. And I saw something moving in the water, so I went and got a net, and I netted this beautiful, long-finned white goldfish out of this muddy puddle and put it in a jar in my window. And that image from that dream has stuck with me my whole life. And goldfish in particular, they're such a common thing. They're like a dime store trinket in a way, but each one of them is an individual life, and there are so many interesting things about goldfish. So I eventually had a goldfish pond in my yard, and I used to sit out there with a cup of coffee, and all the goldfish would run and hide under rocks and things. And the longer I sat there with my journal or my coffee, they would gradually start to come out and feel more comfortable, and eventually would be eating out of my hands. I thought that's the way creativity is. When you're running through life and you're going from this to that and all these things you have to do, and the day kind of gets away with you and there's not enough time to do everything, that's not the time that the creative thoughts and expression come. It's when you sit still and allow them to come out that they do. So you can call it creativity. I think of it almost, that's like spirituality too. Van Gogh is someone that I've always kind of looked to for the heaviness of brushstroke and the intensity of color. And that leads me to one thing that I'll say about Van Gogh is that I like a painting to look like a painting. I really enjoy looking at it can be a painting of a landscape, but I like to see the brushstrokes and see the process and see all that in there, because every painting that pretends to be something, a landscape or any representational scene or object, is an illusion. Our mind sees a three-dimensional world on a two-dimensional plane. It's not a scene of the Gunflint Pines. It's paint on a surface. And there's just something I really love about that. To me, good painting is not necessarily getting every line just right and getting the shape right and getting everything perfect, like reporting the news like in a photograph. Or it's when you do tap into something inside you and say, beyond this incredible scene that I'm looking at that I want to share with you, I want to bring something of me into this, and I'm doing it with paint. So here's some paint. Sometimes people look at my work and they say, "What's that?" And I say, "It's paint." To me, painting is, I often compare it to dreaming or breathing. That it's kind of, I mean, it's not 100% effortless, but it's just something that I have always done and will always do. As long as I'm here in this body, I'll paint. And if I lose the physical ability to paint, I'll paint in my mind. I'll still create those images.
You say life is a dream where we can't say what we mean. Maybe just some roads.
For Artist Open House, I'm Jay Andersen. Artist Open House is a production of WTIP News with support from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
And there's no promises of peace or of happiness. Well, is this why you cling to